Hello everybody and welcome to this video which accompanies your tasting box from northern Spain, and particularly this time the Rezabal Txakoli. So I hope you have that to hand and nice and cold. It's a wine that benefits from being cool. Txakoli, not a wine that's particularly famous or understood in this country, which is a little bit of a shame. It's quite a tiny production. 80% of it is drunk within the region where it's produced, which is the far sort of northeast of Spain, almost about 30 miles from the border with France. So right on the Atlantic coast. And that has a huge influence on the way it's produced. It's a horrible place to grow grapes. It's wet, relatively cold for Spain, and very stony, very difficult actually to plant the vineyards. But when they do, this is the kind of wine they produce. It's very typical actually. I think it's a very good example of the kind of wine that they make. So this wine is produced from a grape called Hondarribia Zuri, which is the dominant white grape of the variety, and it's rather beautiful. So we'll have a little look at it. The influences of the climate and the geology of the region do kind of lend itself to being a light wine, an acidic wine, a low alcohol wine. This is only 11%. And the way that they produce it does tend to produce this very slight effervescence. And in fact, if I'd been doing this in a traditional manner, I'd have poured the wine from above my head into a tumbler, which obviously I could do, but I've chosen not to because it wouldn't fit on the video. I'm ever the professional. So this wine, as you can see, is lovely and pale, really dry, and packing a lovely nose. In terms of fruit, it's green apple and it's lemon, very citrusy, the kind of fruits that you associate with the drier end of the wine spectrum. But kind of more of note is there's a sort of herbal saline character to it. A real sort of salty herbaceousness on the nose, which I think is really inviting and kind of makes this, it lends this well to the type of food produced in the region as well. So, I mean, a fabulous amount of acidity. You have to bear with me. It's really mouth-wateringly dry, which is brilliant. It's really fresh. It suits the seafood that it's particularly, generally served with. But there's actually a touch of lees aging as well, which gives it a certain texture. It enhances the fruit flavour, probably I would say more so than you get from the nose, which makes it a really nice aperitif wine. You could very happily drink this on its own. But because of its low alcohol, I think it also works very well as a lunchtime wine. It would be more of a sort of thing, if you had a glass of it, it would invigorate you rather than send you to sleep. I'm not necessarily suggesting that anybody does go out and start the daytime drinking, but if you are to do it, this is an excellent choice. And a glass of wine with lunch, I think, is perfectly acceptable, certainly in most of Europe. So it's as I say, intensely fruity, this lovely kind of saline edge to it, which would latch on very well to the sweetness of seafood. So you can imagine it with mussels or with prawns. You could also, I think, really happily go with a sort of a bitter notes of a salad. Because it's light and dry, it's not going to overemphasize that, but it will lift it, and that bitterness will kind of highlight the fruit character of this. I think it's really delicious. I've just had for lunch something with a touch of chili in it, fresh raw red chilies in on some soup. But that chili note and that freshness actually works really well, and they're harmonising with each other. They're bringing the best out of each other. So when I talked about the acidity before, there's nothing aggressive about it. It's not like sort of swallowing cider vinegar, which some people's idea of fun and don't quite enjoy it myself. But this doesn't have that aggressive acidity. It doesn't stand out. It is much more like a green apple kind of character. It's integrated into the fruit. It's just a wonderful, crisp refreshing kind of glass. And if you think of the character of a Fino or Manzanilla sherry, it's that same sort of dryness, but this obviously has the fresher fruit. It's in mind of a pickpool, or if you've had a very good Vigna Verde, it's a sort of like a dry style of Vigna Verde, not just because of the slight spritz on the glass. I think it's an absolutely wonderful wine. I really hope you do. I'm interested in the thoughts of anybody who's trying it alongside this video. Last summer we unfortunately sold through the vintage and we ran out, which was a bit of a shame. But what that does do is it really fixes it in your mind, the people who were fans, because lots of people were coming back to ask for it. So I do hope that this is something, for some of you it's a new discovery and it's something you fall in love with. And in any case, I hope you enjoy the rest of the tasting and the rest of the bottle. Cheers.